Hello YouTube. I actually got a nice sunny day outside, so I decided to pull the Chevelle out and work on it outdoors. I've got an alarm system on the car. I've always had an alarm system because anywhere I drive, anywhere I leave the car, I like to know that it's somewhat secure and safe from anybody vandalizing it or messing with it. I do have a small issue with the alarm though. Let me show you what's going on. With the alarm armed, if I open the passenger side door, nothing happens. The odd thing is, the dome light comes on. So it works with the passenger side door switch. When I open the driver's side door, not only does the dome light come on, but the alarm is also triggered. If you look at the schematic, it shows that the white wires are connected to the driver's side and passenger side door jamb switches, as well as the dome lamps. In line, I also spliced in the alarm system, that way it could be triggered by the door jamb switches. This makes no sense why the passenger side door jamb switch can trigger the dome lamp but not the alarm system. So this is how the driver's side door jamb switch. The way it works, it's a simple plunger. Whenever the door presses against it, pushes against the plunger, there's no ground going through the circuit. When the doors open, the plunger opens up, grounds itself, and ground goes through the circuit. Let me show you something that I noticed. When I press the driver's side door jamb switch, the dome lamp dims. With electrical, you gotta always pay attention to little clues like that, because they'll save you a lot of time and work, really. They'll lead you straight to the problem if you pay attention to stuff like that. From what's going on in my experience, I would think that something's going on with the passenger side door jamb circuit. Most likely some kind of a high resistance, not getting enough ground. That's why it dims. It barely has enough ground to run the light. And whenever you introduce the driver's side door jamb switch, which has a better ground, the light gets brighter. So as you can tell, my glove box fell apart a long time ago, so I just went ahead and took it out. Now I'm going to take this vent out of the way, this dash vent. See if I can take that out without breaking anything. And there's our little door jamb switch. That's the passenger side door jamb switch, and there's plenty of rust around there. So I'll just go ahead and hook up my meter and take some readings, maybe use my power probe and see if I can trigger the alarm system with it. And let's see what we find. So if you guys have ever used a power probe before, it's pretty simple. You just hook up to your battery, and it works like a regular test light, other than now that you're going to have the ability to introduce ground or battery power to any circuit. I'm going to use this little jumper battery clip on it, that way I can hold it on a circuit. Now with the power probe hooked up, we can go ahead and get back to the door jamb switch and see what we can see in here. I'm going to go ahead and pry that little connect off. And it's just a little terminal that sticks in that door jamb switch. And you can see why I need that alligator clip now. And the power probe is reading power right now. There's battery power on that circuit. I'm going to silence this. I silenced it just so we can hear what I'm saying. We can introduce power or ground into the circuit, whatever we need to, or we can just read power or ground. Right now, it's reading power on that circuit, which is normal because the door jamb switches are, one's disconnected and the other one is closed, so it shouldn't be reading anything. So the alarm is engaged now. So if we introduce ground, we're simulating the door being opened, and if the rest of the circuit is good, it should trigger the alarm. Which it does. Well, at this point we know that the wiring from the splice to the passenger side door jamb switch is good. So we're actually looking at a problem at the door jamb switch, which I'm going to assume it's either a bad switch or just excessive rust causing a poor ground there. Another neat test you can do with a power probe is you can actually, it comes with a jumper where you can attach ground directly to the circuit without holding the button. You can see where the circuit changed into ground right there. And then we can look at the dome lamp and see if messing with the now we can look at the dome lamp and see if we mess with the passenger side door switch like I did earlier, see if it dims it. Which I don't see any dimming at all. That means that it's getting a good ground now. So like I speculated, the problem's actually at the door jamb switch. So now I have to remove it, see if I can clean off some of that rust and give it a better ground. If we look inside there at that switch, it's got a lot of rust, a lot of corrosion in there. So the next thing I would do is remove the switch and see how much of that I can clean. It's just a 7/16 socket to take out this door jamb switch. I'll just go ahead and take it out and see if we can clean it up and clean up where it mounts. See all that rust in there? A lot of rust and corrosion where it threads in. Okay, I got my Dremel here loaded with this little wire wheel, and I'm going to see if I can clean up some of this rust. If you can look where the little door jamb switch, once it opens up, looks like this area is where it makes contact. So I'm going to try to polish that up, see if I can clean it up a little bit. I'm also going to try to polish up the inside part where the terminal hooks up to it. So that looks a whole lot cleaner. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and polish up where it threads in. And now, real quick, I'm going to polish the outside part of the threads of the door jamb switch, which I forgot to do on the bench. You can see it polished up pretty good. I'll go ahead and drop it in now. Go ahead and release these clips. So now that I took the power probe off, I'm going to go ahead and polish this terminal as well. Can you see that? Polished up pretty good. Let's go ahead and connect it back up. Real quick, these are the tools that I used. I used the Dremel was probably one of the main things that I needed to polish off all the rust, and as well as a power probe test light to be able to detect ground and introduce good ground. My rechargeable light, regular sockets and ratchet, and I didn't even need my voltmeter. Really quick side note, guys. You don't really need a specialized test light like a power probe. If you have a good ground, like we do with this cigarette lighter, you could actually introduce ground into the circuit with a jumper wire. The alarm's armed now, so if I ground this, it should go off. That would be testing the wire the same way the power probe did. Same thing for the dome light. As you ground it with the jumper wire, the dome light comes on, take it off, goes off. Goes off on nice and bright, so that tells you that's a good ground. It's pretty much the same way as using the Power Pro, but instead of using a special tool, you'd be just using a jumper wire with alligator clips or a bare wire or anything you can get your hands on. Just wanted to let y'all know that. So now it's hooked back up, nice and polished up terminal and door jamb switch as well. So let's try to press the driver's side door jamb switch. See if, first of all, we'll see if the dome light, if there's any difference in the dimming. Seems pretty consistent. Seems like it's not changing at all like it was before. And here's the ultimate test. Let's see if the alarm goes off when I open the passenger side door. And it does. So it's a pretty successful repair. I didn't have to replace parts again. That was not intentional, but hey, it works. Now I have to someday take off the driver's side door jamb switch and polish that one off. I'm pretty sure it's got some rust. It is flowing good ground right now, but I'm pretty sure it has some rust as well. Thanks for watching, guys.